The showcase is about to begin. Get ready! You've been bumming on Destiny for a while. It's time to get rid of that. Get hype. Get super hype.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Like many of you, I've been playing games as long as I can remember. They're a core part of what makes me who I am. I believe there's this deeply rooted, often unstated mission of games to keep adventure alive.
Yeah.
In 2014, Bungie set out to start a new adventure. Heroes awakened on a desolate planet. A silent god set in our sky. And it wouldn't be long before an ancient enemy, shrouded in darkness, showed up at humanity's door to destroy us.
It's so Jover, dude.
Over the years, our heroes would shape a story far greater than anything we could have imagined. Players would explore deep into the depths of Venus, hunting a machine god that controlled time itself. They'd invent ways to combine their mythic weaponry and their paracausal abilities to stand alone against monsters that took others an entire elite squad. They'd race alongside their friends far into the early morning in the halls of an ancient city where only a select few emerged victorious at dawn, clutching the heart of a dragon. But most importantly, they'd bring their friends and their family into this world and together meet new faces on this adventure who would become lifelong companions.
Venus, baby!
Now, together, we approach the final shape. We're about to embark on the last expedition of Destiny's first saga. So let's be clear about the stakes. In the final shape, you will go inside the Traveler. The journey will be difficult. And what awaits you on the other side of this trek is nothing less than the deadliest entity we have ever faced.
First saga.
There will be no open betas. There aren't going to be any guides on the internet telling you how to handle what's to come.
I'll make one.
Whether you've been with us from the beginning, joined us somewhere along the road, or are looking at Destiny for the first time, anybody who shows up on launch day is going to be greeted with this same uncharted world.
Except
a
data miners.
vacuum-sealed experience begging for you to be the first person to peel it open. So today is your invitation to go forth and adventure.
Cutscene. Outside the wall. New Guardian?
After all these years, we never talked about it. Why I brought you back.
Wait.
Why you were chosen.
Wait. Resume.
The truth is, I didn't know then. It was just a feeling.
Origin story?
But I know now. After all we've seen,
Good. Good.
all we've lost,
What is this?
this fight might be our last. So I'm asking you one last time to rise.
What the hell is that? February 27th, 2024. February 27th, 2024.
This is a momentous time in Destiny history. We've been building to this moment for the last 10 years.
The final shape is the conclusion to that journey. This is a moment in gaming that, as a developer, you just don't get very often.
Guardians and allies are fighting the biggest threat that the universe has ever seen in this big culmination of the Light and Darkness saga.
When we were thinking of what the final shape could be, it had to be a lot of different things. It needs to pay off this epic confrontation with the Witness that we've been setting up for years. It has to bring you closer to your allies in the Vanguard. It has to be this place that makes you feel nostalgic for the entire journey you've been on.
When we were resurrected by Ghost at the very beginning of this story, we didn't know why, but it was for this. The Traveler is asking us for help. And it's our responsibility to protect every living thing in the universe from what the Witness intends to do.
When we first start the final shape, we are finally able to go through the portal that the Witness opened in the Traveler at the end of Lightfall.
Inside is the pale heart of the Traveler. That is the stage for our showdown with the Witness.
What is inside? What's inside?
The Witness has the darkness. It has always had a connection to it. The pale heart of the Traveler is what it's trying to use to gain connection to the light. So with both, it can enact its final shape.
The Witness looks around and sees a lack of purpose, no meaning. It wants to fix all that. So it's trying to put the universe into this frozen perfection where everything's just exactly how it thinks it's supposed to be. That is the final shape.
If we're going to defeat the Witness, it's going to take everyone. Failure is not an option.
We're gonna need the Vanguard, all of our allies, and all the Guardians to rally together
some new supers?
and be brave in the face of Oblivion.
Why is inside the Traveler
In the final shape,
the old tower?
We're going to answer questions at the grandest scale. But what I find really interesting is that it's also a very personal journey, where we deepen our relationships with these characters that we've known for so long. Zavala, Ikora, our Ghost, get to reconnect with Cade 6. So, while there's this great conflict and everything going on around us and stakes of just unimaginable heights, it's still at the end a story told around campfires by a bunch of companions who have been fighting together for hundreds of years.
Is it memories or is it timeless inside the Traveler? How can memories fight? Maybe it's timeless.
In the final shape, we're going through the portal that the Witness has opened up to confront it and stop the final shape. Inside the Traveler is this infinite, vast, unknowable, and we're landing on the Pale Heart, which is a fraction of really what is inside the Traveler.
Pre-alpha footage.
The Pale Heart is weird. It's a little strange, it makes you feel a bit uncomfortable, and it is also just so cool and artistic in the best way.
The Witness entered well ahead of any Guardians, and so it's had time to kind of shape what's there. When our Guardian enters, the rest of the Pale Heart starts getting shaped also around what we've experienced.
Memories.
This is the Traveler recreating the world in front of you as it saw in your
Loving
journey.
the music, yeah.
One of the most memorable locales from Destiny's past is the D1 Tower. It's really a labor of love from the Destiny team. The final shape means so much to everyone who's building it, and I think players are really going to be able to see that.
What do my memories have?
The Pale Heart is our very
Foliage.
first linear destination that we've ever done. I would love it if players felt that they began their journey in a place of safety and feel it escalate in danger, in surrealness, because there is this beautiful evolution of the space.
They see things that are more and more wrong as they begin to go towards the Witness's monolith. It's kind of this omnipresent, foreboding thing off in the distance.
The weirdest things happen as you get closer to the monolith in the form of reshaping. Kind of like deconstructing things and putting them back together just wrong.
The sense of scale you get out there, like as you're exploring these spaces and you're jumping on these reshaped cuboids of Earth, you feel tiny as a Guardian. You feel alone. You feel like you are not
That's
the
just like
force
real
to
life.
be reckoned with that you have been. You're not the God Slayer right now. You're just this little person jumping from these massive
Minecraft.
pieces to massive pieces.
Minecraft.
One of the things that we really tried to also capture is that the witness keeps throwing everything it has at you. And so you're going to fight these new enemies, the subjugators.
Subjugators are the new unit you're going to be facing in the final shape.
Roll.
They have an enhanced power set. They're performing stasis powers and strand powers to face the Guardian.
Okay.
Well, in support of all the other enemies you're fighting too.
They bring something entirely new to the battlefield, which is kind of this element of control.
They're back there pinging away with stasis abilities, throwing crystals at you, freezing you in place, tangling you up.
How did they get
We're
strand?
focusing you on the campaign and only the campaign. It's the most important thing in the universe at that moment. You have to stop the final shape from happening.
And for that, we do need the help with our allies. And so we're going to make sure that the core Vanguard team gets back together. Zavala and Ikora and Cade.
The campaign is just the start of the
Good.
art. After you've reached the monolith and finished the campaign, we open up the entire destination. And so the entire Pale Heart is going to react to you and what you are doing.
Interesting. Patrol the Traveler's
The
Heart?
campaign in the final shape doesn't really end with the final mission. The raids are where you defeat like the big bosses. So it's only natural that when you are going to confront the witness, you're going to do that in the raid. But that might not be enough. This is a moment where we need to rally all Guardians to be able to overcome the final shape and the witness.
Yeah, raids with an S. Raids with an S. Raids with an S!
In the final shape, we are inside the Traveler, very close to this energy. This allows us to have new supers, Arc, Solar, Void.
We want to create something that turns you into an offensive powerhouse, but also can benefit your allies in a support capacity. There is this thread of team play and like working with your friends to overcome the odds.
Damn.
The Warlock Super is this ultimate expression of solar energy coursing through your Guardian. This Solar Warlock Super is a callback to Radiance from D1.
Other than Golden Gun, this is the only other first-person super in Destiny right now. Your melee's like all of these projectiles going off, doubling the amount of projectiles. Your grenade almost being sentient as it searches around, and then it hits a character and bounces off and goes to another one. And your
Hey!
to your allies, allowing them to have their solar weapons supercharged, applying Scorch when they're shooting.
The new Solar Warlock aspect, when I cast my Rift, it is going to create this little solar soul that when it sees an enemy,
Solar
it
buddy.
launches part of itself out and
Solar
hits the enemy
buddy.
and explodes and scorches them.
It just feels very alive. Twilight Arsenal. It's a layered super.
This is the only ranged one-off offensive super for Titans in the game. The Titan
Ranged?
jumps up into the air, summons this giant void axe,
Ranged.
throws it, summons another one, throws it, summons another one, looks at
A
a different group
ranged
of enemies, throws
Titan
it.
super!
And when these axes fly through the air, they stick
Hammer.
into the ground or an enemy, do their void gravity thing where they suck a bunch of energy and enemies in and then explode. But that doesn't destroy the axe. The axe sticks around, and you and your allies can go and pick up that axe
What?
and start wailing
No
on
way!
enemies with it.
This super is insane to me.
The Void
You get
Titan
an axe, you get
aspect,
an axe.
I press and hold my grenade button to consume my grenade and turn it into the shield. The more damage it takes, the more it charges up, and then I can release that, and it creates this blast that deals massive damage.
Boom!
the Hunter Arc Super.
Arc is all about finding the shortest distance between 2 points. The Hunter kind of rears back, takes this knife and throws it across the world, and then is able to blink to its position, do the slash that just decimates
Cross
anyone nearby.
map teleports.
One really great thing about that is not just you do it once, but you're able to do it 3 times, along with devastating attacks each time you do it.
The Hunter has an aspect. We take our staff, we twirl it in the air, which propels us upward. It creates this burst, which amplifies you and any allies near you.
It almost makes it feel like you're playing a fighting game, right? Like these combos that you're chaining together to do these different moves. It like takes that sandbox to the next level.
The more aspects we have, the more capable we are to do that.
It feels like you're like riding the lightning, you know? Like that instantaneous, like...
That was good, but I think it's more like... You know?
I like it, I like it.
Hunter 1, Titan 2, Warlock 3.
Weapons team has been working on all sorts of goodness. We've got exotics, we've got legendaries, we've got perks. We're always cooking up stuff. We're always playing with stuff that we think is like really interesting or taking inspiration. We have Tessellation, which is this exotic pyramid fusion rifle. It has the really intriguing property of adapting your Guardian's current damage type.
This will be the first time that you can run a weapon that can adapt to be strand or stasis in the energy slot. So you'll be able to run an entirely strand or entirely stasis loadout. Tessellation has the additional property that you can special reload to reshape your grenade and suck it into the weapon. And
What is
then
his
fire
shirt?
out a super destructive single projectile. It's a really special weapon.
What's the one specific exotic that I can make that's like really zany that you would like right now?
What if Golden Gun was a sniper rifle?
What if you could harness the might of the Traveler?
Excuse me?
You know, we had a moment where we saw that Traveler beam cutscene. I know people on Weapons went, I kind of want that. You're like, that is incredibly dope.
So we've got this opportunity to bring back these iconic Destiny 1 weapons, but
Dragon's
really turn
breath.
it into something that feels unique in Destiny 2.
We have to bring Kvatstab into the fold.
The Red Death exotic pulse rifle.
And Dragon's Breath, burn the world, burn it all.
Burn the frame rate.
In the final shape, we have new weapon subfamilies coming, broadening what existing weapons can be.
Really like bordering on exotic functionality. So for example, we've got a rocket pistol sidearm subfamily. We always liked the special ammo sidearms. This fires
Rocket
tiny,
pistol?
slow-moving rockets. They hit very hard, do a bit of AoE damage. They have a mixture of regular weapon and rocket launcher stats. We're also doing a new support weapon subfamily.
The support frame auto rifle is a type of legendary auto rifle. It'll let you switch seamlessly from firing at enemies to healing your allies.
What?
I'm really excited to
Legendary?
bring it to dungeons and keep my team alive, honestly.
Medic!
Weapons team is always coming up with new ideas. We've got a ton of new cool stuff coming over the next few years and some new and really wild ideas, which we're pretty excited about.
Damn.
Come on, take a load off. We've got a lot to cover. This place is only big enough for one dashing hero type, and that's me, so. I'm back! Hey, you two, give me a sec. I was magnificent. This is great. Anyone want a hug? Get your rock off my map.
Get your rock off the
Worst case
map.
scenario, you die. But who knows? Maybe you won't. Well, better get back to it.
Still sweeping.
In this moment where we're driving to the end of the Light and Darkness saga, it's
Okay.
great to see Cade like return to this world at this moment with all this change about to culminate with this confrontation with the long-standing enemy, the Witness.
Cade is the quintessential hunter. His presence casts such a long shadow over the story of Destiny, whether it was when he was alive or when he was dead.
What Cade goes through in this journey, how he serves as a catalyst for the other characters, the events that are uncovered to have brought him back. This is how the story had to end. There was no end to the Light and Darkness saga that didn't have Cade here alongside his friends to finish the job.
Once we started digging into the nature of the Pale Heart. I think that crystallized Cade's role as a guide. Cade is Virgil, and he's our guide through this other place. Cade is the one who is the most appropriate person to be the guide, because that's his job. That's always been his job. It just feels so natural for Nathan to be back in the booth. It felt amazing to just see him slip back into the role, like, without missing a beat.
Right, instantly.
In the flesh, or metal, as it were.
Cade's the glue that's always held Zavala and Ikora together. Having him back puts them in a position of questioning where they've been and what they've done without him.
You think about the journey that Zavala's been on and how he's been taken down this dark path, and you think about the weight that's been on Ikora, having to hold the Vanguard together, having Cade's voice of levity and brightness that he brings to that group. I think it's going to be great for them.
Well, at least we have each other.
We want people to take away that sense of reunion and that idea of like the gang being back together for this moment.
I'm here now. Wherever the hell here is.
He's just a memory, though. He's not actually alive. Right? Right?
Guardian, the witness poses a dire threat. And the Witch Queen holds the answers we seek. But only if we contend with her sister, Xivu Araf. It rests with me. Will you come back from this? Do not be afraid.
What is she saying? I'm sorry?
Bring me your tithes. You now wield hive magic and have entwined it with your light. Assault the Spire, Guardian, and open the way to our tithes. Let them know fear. The deck of whispers, and they do whisper.
Oh, what the
Fight
hell?
in my name, Guardian. Every opponent you defeat strengthens me. My appetite rises for your brutal tributes. Let us show her what it is to be Hive. You have sounded the horn of battle! You are deserving of the greatest death I can bestow.
Season 22 looking pretty dope. Season of the Witch, there it is.
Season of the Witch is our opportunity as players. We've been annihilating and breaking Hive spells, and now we finally get to cast them.
At the end of Season of the Deep, we learn that Savathun has the key to getting into the portal that we need to go into. That means we have to go find Imaru, her ghost. Imaru's like, not so fast. We've got a bigger problem first, and that bigger problem's name is Xivu Araf. If we fight her, she only gets stronger. Eris has an idea. It's a really
good
It's
idea.
a wild ass idea, yeah. She determines like, well, the best way to fight fire is with fire. We are channeling all of that energy that we're creating by going through, by eliminating enemies, and we're tithing to our friend Eris.
I'm worried.
Bring me your time.
I'm worried.
What does that mean for the characters and the player to kind of like be like Savathun? And that's where we went down the path of having Hive Eris. We wanted to extend that magical fantasy into the player then. That ability to have overwhelming magical power, that risk and reward into all of our activities and systems experiences.
That's my shirt.
And so that's what led us to come up with things like Deck of Whispers. It's this magical deck of cards that creates amazing synergies with your buildcraft meta and with buffs and the activities.
They can then choose these cards at will, whichever ones they want, and then that really leans into the build crafting.
You actually are getting cards that you can then use to place on the battlefield and change the way you
Tom!
I'm such a sucker for deck building. Like being able to like bring that element into Destiny gameplay has just been like, oh, chess.
It's
really
super
fun.
Up for a game of Gwent.
So we've got 2 brand new seasonal activities coming with Season of the Witch. We've got Altars of Summoning and Savathun's Spire.
Savathun's Spire is our new 3-player
Savathun's
offensive.
Spire.
You're doing a lot more with the Lucent Hive magic, but it's got a high amount of combatant density. It's got additional random encounters that you can come across.
The Witch's Spire itself, Savathun's Spire, was like her reliquary for all these different magical experiments as she was learning the light. You're there in order to learn as much as you can in order to become a master spellcaster, right? To become like Savathun. The Altar of Summoning's activity is really exciting because you can spend like 20 minutes in it or you can spend 2 hours in it.
Altar of
It's a
Summoning.
3-player experience that you can hop in and hop out of. As you're going through this activity, you're filling the tithing bucket. As that tithing bucket is filled up, you'll get progressively more rewards. And then finally at the end, it'll cash out and you'll get a whole mess of rewards.
Nice, like that. So the raid has to be Crota. It's got to be Crota.
We really wanted to make sure that there was a home for any exotic mission content coming in seasons after the year has passed. And so we developed what we're calling the Exotic Mission Rotator.
Right away, we're getting Presage, Vox Obscura, and Operation Seraph Shield.
This is some of the most fun content the team has making. It's some of the content the fans and players of Destiny love the most. The most exciting thing, outside of just the missions themselves, is that every time we put a mission inside of that rotator, the exotic that comes alongside of it will become craftable.
It's a big download for today.
With Season of the Witch, we have a brand new Vex lo-fi PvP map coming. It's really exciting. It's got a bunch of really tight gameplay experiences. We wanted to make sure that we focused the combat a little bit more. With the new Vex network map, we really wanted to make sure we hit is like, hey, you're shoulder to shoulder more often. There's not as much deep sight lines that you're interacting with. And a lot of the flow of the map is actually built around this like kind of central pillar of the Vex network that you're orienting around.
And there's also some modes coming too, right?
We've got a new PvP game mode coming that's all about relics. It's about multiple relics, so it's not just one like the Scorch game mode from the past. So we've got the shield coming from Vault of Glass, we've got the spear back from Season of the Risen.
And we got the scythe from Season of the Haunted.
Yeah, so you're gonna be reaping Guardians with that thing. It's a lot more tactical gameplay. It's all about running around the map, claiming these relic dispensers, and then grabbing them in order to push for victory.
I will take what I need. The words in my throat are the weapon in my fist.
We were feeling pretty Hivey this season, obviously.
Crota.
There's something in the air. And so when thinking about like, what's a good raid reprisal that would really suit this very Hivey season?
Crota.
There's only one answer.
Best raid ever. My favorite raid. Hot take, I know. My favorite raid. Don't at me.
I have seen what the Hive call a god.
Crota, baby. Hellmouth. Drop it down to the abyss. Don't show us. Don't show us. All right, it's dark. It's fine. Dark. You show the abyss. Okay, you show the second part. Okay, you show the bridge encounter.
A true weapon of the light can
Necrochasm
is wrath.
Okay, you can show the final area. Oversoul, that's fine too. We're glowing again, baby. Raid armor is, oh, it's my favorite raid armor too. Oh, but it's a strike, blah, blah, blah. No. Best raid for challenges. Best raid for challenges. Most exciting raid, high action.
Heading into the final shape, we really want to rally all Guardians at the end of the Light and Darkness saga. We want to reduce those power barriers as well as catch people up on key story beats and make sure that they have a really great and easy time connecting with other players.
Good.
In the final shape, we're trying to find ways to make power more simple and easy to understand and also lowering the barrier to entry.
It's going to make it easier for players who have not been able to jump into game easily because they were held back by the challenges in grinding for the power levels that are required by these different activities.
One of the major changes that's going to be happening starting with the final shape is there are going to be a certain number of activities that are going to be power fixed. So it doesn't matter kind of what power level you are going into it, you're always going to be able to approach it.
Okay.
There's still going to be tiers of difficulty that you can do, things that are just meant to be experienced a certain way.
Things like Nightfall strikes that will still have power enabled, and that's where we're really going to focus the whole power climb.
The raids, the contest modes that everybody loves to engage with, that experience is fundamentally going to be staying the same.
I'm excited for this because I think there will be a lot more clarity for players in terms of understanding the relative difficulty of things, where they sit now in the spectrum.
One way that we're trying to do that is making it easier for new players to engage with you. So we're introducing something that we're calling Fire Team Power.
You can actually bring your friends along to play any dungeons and raids in the game without having to wait them to be at a certain power level. The person with the highest power in your fire team is actually going to bring all the others close to their power level, which means that there's no barriers really for any other Guardian to join you in this high-level content.
When it's combined with Fireteam Finder, it also allows you to find strangers, people you've never played with before, and have that same experience. That's all
LFG must be
regardless of the
2,000 power
of you
level.
and the rest of the people in your fire team.
Fireteam Finder is the new feature that's coming in Season 23, aimed at helping connect and find other people to complete the best and most aspirational content in Destiny. We have a tag system that allows players to be able to say, well, this is my play style. I'm really chill. I'm anti-sweat. I'm just really here to have a good time. Exactly.
Tags really allows players to show a little bit more personality, show a little bit more about what they're about. I think what's really great about it is with this launch, we're also looking at including inclusion tags.
As an example, one of the inclusion tags that we have are for colorblind players. Hopefully the inclusion tags will bring players closer to finding their community and even closer to the people that they're playing with. So once a listing goes live, players will be put into a listing lobby where players can gather, they can communicate with each other. So we wanted to make it as convenient and as easy as possible for players to not just sit and stare at a screen for a long time while their listing actually fills up.
As a gamer who's typically more solo, I'm especially excited about this because it really is about helping reduce that anxiety and burden that comes with trying to make a new connection. The feature coming out today that I'm incredibly excited about is Timeline Reflections. Essentially what we have done is we've went back to previous expansions and pulled out missions that we felt really represent key narrative beats within our story. We're going to have a mission for Forsaken, mission for Beyond Light, as well as a mission for Witch Queen.
Thanks for the memories, Guardian.
The neat thing about these missions is they're not going to be like one-to-one for how you would experience them in the campaign. You're also going to get additional pieces of narrative fed to you to like identify like, hey, this is why it's important that this happened, and here are the people you met along the way.
A really big one that's really timely for Final Shape is Cade's Last Stand from Forsaken.
But
this is a moment that a lot of players, new and old, are going to come back to Destiny. I think this is just the right time to introduce features that are going to allow those players to jump right in and find people to play with and enjoy this content regardless of their power level.
Is it a recap or is it like a teaser for a DLC campaign for free players?
We're reaching the end of this 10-year journey. What comes next?
The episodes. And the new way we're going to tell stories moving forward.
Yes.
What's really important about episodes is that it's a really big shakeup to what we've been doing. Instead of providing 4 seasons a year, you are going to get 3 larger episodes. And so the first 3 episodes in this coming year are called Echoes, Revenant, and Heresy.
Echo, Revenant,
it's coming
Heresy.
right after the Final Shape.
Echo, Revenant,
And the theme for the
Heresy.
year is going to be all about the consequences and aftermath of the Final Shape. I think what's really the cornerstone of the episode model that we're building is the 3-act structure. The acts act as these anchors for us to introduce new weapons, new artifact mods, new activities. There's going to be new missions coming around the core. There'll be new story moments in every single one of these acts. We're actually providing more cinematic styled experiences throughout the Final Shape year and the episodes with it than any of the seasons we've ever developed before.
These new stories are
That's so
actually
much to think
playable
about.
as standalone. Like each episode is something you can experience, whether you've been playing Destiny for 10 years or this is your first one.
You're going to be able to basically enjoy them in any order you want to.
I think the opportunity with this big epic moment is that we get to innovate the game. We get to move the game forward.
It's all about change frequently. It's all about deeper story moments. It's all about more weapons, more loot, more often. And it really provides the team with a platform to go much deeper into the themes and fantasies and story.
I'm so excited to see what the narrative team can do with this kind of new platform of storytelling. Episodes provides this awesome foundation for the future of Destiny.
We're moving into the next stage of Destiny 2. I think some people look at the final shape and they think Destiny 2 is coming to the end. And in many ways, it's the opposite. We're leaning in. We're putting the pedal to the metal. Episodes provide us a new, innovative way for players to engage with Destiny 2 throughout the year.
Okay. I've got to go back and look at that a lot.
What makes a guardian a guardian? Devotion, bravery, sacrifice. We know that we were chosen for a reason, by something greater than ourselves.
Guardian. Guardian? Eyes up, Guardian.
Shaped by the fires of each new battle, we are forged and sharpened into what we must become for the fight ahead. We are the final line that halts the second collapse.
All of us. Every Titan. Every Warlock. Every Hunter.
What is it the Guardians say? Devotion inspires bravery.
Bravery inspires sacrifice.
Sacrifice leads to death. The line between light and dark is so very thin.
Let's cross it together.
There are things out in the dark that only the dark can overcome. Trust me. Trust me.
You've heard the stories of the Traveler's sacrifice, of darkness descending upon humanity.
Our purpose is its end. This time, there is no escape.
Wait till you meet my guardian. We'll see about that. All right, post-show.
It's going to be an exciting year for Guardians. We get to make good on a promise that we made way back in 2014.
Destiny's best days?
Classic rock blasting, a fire team racing across our solar system, and at the end, a simple message. Become legend.
No!
Today,
no,
you got a glimpse at how we'll be cementing your legend in this upcoming year.
Okay.
We're going to be heading inside the Traveler, experiencing a destination unlike anything we've ever built before. We'll face the biggest bad we've ever made, and we'll do this all alongside a streamlined progression system, allowing us to easily play with friends in any content in the game.
Hell yeah.
And as the dust settles in the final shape, we're going to continue our legends in Echoes. It's Destiny's first episode in a new phase of storytelling for Guardians with brand new conflicts born from the resolution of the Light and Darkness saga. These first episodes are just the beginning. But if you're chomping at the bit to see how the Light and Darkness saga is going to kick off the future of Destiny 2, we've got a ton of great content for you to jump into today. Going live after this, we've got Season of the Witch. With a new story, new weapons, new armor, new activities, and new PvP content, all alongside a series of story catch-up missions, allowing any of your friends to jump into the game and get up to speed on what's happening in this world. Then, next week, a brutal reprisal of Crota's End is going to join the ranks of our aspirational content.
World third.
I can't wait to see you all in the throne world.
World third.
As we learn more about the final shape and how we can
I
solve
want
it.
to shave my beard because of Joe and just have a mustache.
Bring me your tithes.
anything about a new subclass.
After all these years,
New supers.
all we've lost. This fight might be our last. So I'm asking you to rise. One last time.
Post show! All right, so that was 40 minutes. Post show time. Collector's edition revealed. Dang it! Okay, we gotta wait. 41 minutes. 40 minutes. Collector's edition revealed.
When we create a collector's edition, we try and recreate items from the universe for players to enjoy outside of the game. So this year we're doing a Destiny 1 tower. We really tried to work hard at thinking about
it's a PS5.
10 years of Destiny and how best to encapsulate that experience.
Even as the game dev who've worked on it since day one, like I think having it be the tower is super exciting for us because it's going to kind of catalog your journey of a player from when you first started playing Destiny all the way to now.
Oh, that's cool.
The tower, it's kind of like the beacon in which you're a place you can call home.
You get the tower, and then there are actual figures of the Vanguard mentors that accompany that architectural model.
And there's a lot of like hidden messages and hidden things.
There's gonna be some fun surprises. We're always trying to push the envelope. And so we've been playing a lot with magnetic locks and sound effects, and lights, just sort of make this experience as a whole really special. It's sort of the perfect symbol of Destiny. I'm so excited for it.
Me too.
Final Shape comes out February 27th, 2004. Pre-order now. Hashtag ad. Actually, not an ad. Post show? Post show starting soon. Live post show, by the way. Live. What music is this? Venus? It's just artistic choice. Yeah, I think it's Venus. D1 Venus, yeah. It's a bit of freestyle. No. I just gotta go back and watch everything. I gotta go frame by frame for the analysis. Come on, post show. Need screenshots of the roadmaps. Yes. Could someone go back and grab that for me? Live. It's Cosmo. I see him. He's right there. Studio. Joe. Looks like Joe. Maybe not Joe. Not sure. I don't know who that is. Who are the content creators' names again? I guess we're about to find out. Pika Taylor. That's right. Okay, thank you. Pika and Taylor. Yes. So showcase already over. 45 minutes long. That's usually how long it is. Now we're post-show, baby. Look at this lighting. Very nice. I've been here before. This is the... Oh, but didn't they like revamp the Bungie Studios a lot? Remember this big staircase? I remember walking up here and then walking over this, and then I don't remember anything else. This is the new studio? Is this not? This looks exactly the same. Is this not? I know it was like revamped, but is this not it? Not the same staircase. They moved it toward Feb. Oh. I gotta have another tour because now everything's different. The staircase is original. I remember this structural support column. It's load bearing. The post show is probably 15 minutes long because they're gonna start like now. Or is the UE5 set? I was hoping for it. Walk slowly by the camera. We'll see you. Turn it down at the start. All right. What do we think? 1 out of 10. How'd you enjoy the showcase? I wish I can tally that up. Looks like an average of 8. I'm gonna go with 8. Oh. Mic'd up? Good to go? Cosmo's waiting. He's chomping at the bit. Let Cosmo go, baby. Give Chris Shannon the mic. 10, 9, 8, 7. Okay, watch this. Post. I was gonna analyze the showcase, but season 22 is coming out.
Hello, Guardians. Welcome to the post-show stream. My name is Taylor Liz. I am a Destiny 2 player and content creator. I'm excited to be here live at Bungie. We're gonna have 2 segments for you today. A little later in the show, I'll be playing through the brand new Season of the Witch content with my good friend, Pika Peach. Right now, let's sit down with Bungie developers to talk more about what we just saw and what's next for the future of Destiny 2. Pika, over to you.
Thank you so much, Taylor. My name is Pika, and I'm also a content creator and Destiny 2 fan. You can often find Taylor and I playing together in some sort of challenge in-game. I'm beyond honored to be sitting down with everyone here today, so let's do some more introductions.
Thank you, Pika. It's great to have you here. Hi, my name is Cosmo. I'm the lead community role here at Bungie, and my role is supporting our amazing community team and all the great work they do, helping prepare weekly check-ins and sending info out to our players. I'm going to be teaming up with Pika today, and we're going to be asking some of these guys some questions and go over some of the things that we didn't get to cover in the showcase. So, yeah, Dan?
Yeah, thanks. I'm Dan McAuliffe. I'm the general manager for Destiny 2. And that mostly means that I get to support all the amazing talent that makes this game. So thanks for sitting down with us today.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to it.
I'm Joe. I'm the game director on Destiny 2. And actually, while Taylor and Liz were doing the intro, I was hiding behind a pillar for the last 10 seconds.
We saw you.
So y'all can like roll back the VOD and see if I did a good job or not.
No. Literally in the shot.
Awesome. So let's get into some questions. As a player,
Where'd Taylor
what
go?
are you guys most hyped about regarding the final shape and beyond? Anything specific you can call out?
For me, I'm really excited about the story. I mean, this is going to be like the epic conclusion to the Light and Darkness saga. Like, players are finally going to get to go into the Traveler, confront the Witness. Like, the stakes have never been higher. I'm just really excited to get to watch everybody play it out as soon as they can. Can we make it live right now?
I don't think so.
I tried. Anyway, what about you, Dan?
Oh, for me, I mean, it's a lot about the supers, right? Like, I just think we have this ability with these supers coming out to shift the meta in a really exciting
Teleporting
way.
hunters.
And, like, I just haven't played through them and gotten some hands on them. Sorry, like no spoilers, but like I think they're going to play in all parts of the game. So I think you're going to see these in the campaign, obviously, but you're going to see these in PvP, and they really feel like
And I'm starting on Arc Hunter too.
Pinnacle achievement of our Guardians journey in a lot of ways. So just really excited to see the final product.
Yeah, for me, I guess it's maybe surprising. It's the weapons. And I know, like,
Shock.
Yeah, we make a lot of weapons on Destiny 2, right? And so why are we excited about the weapons this time? I think the team sort of really looked and said, what's core to Destiny, right? Like what's really important? And we said, hey, like Destiny's at its best when you're getting a bunch of new weapons, and those weapons are so exciting that they are making it onto your character right away. They're like changing the way you play. So
I have a lot to say about
just exotics, right? It's not just like, I think it was alluded to, like, what if Golden Gun was a sniper rifle? Pretty cool sniper rifle. I think it's also, we talked about these new, weapon subtypes. And so what's a support auto rifle? We've made guns that heal before. We've made exotics that do it. Well, if we do it in a legendary, what needs to be different about it so we can make this thing that feels as useful to a fire team as someone bringing Galahorn, that feels as useful as someone, bringing Divinity, right? And we know that's the bar that we have to hit. So we're looking at a bunch of different things and saying, okay, we're gonna make these guns and we're gonna make them matter, right? We're gonna go out and you're gonna get awesome stuff on, the Pale Heart. I think we showed a little bit of it. There's like these sweet, they look like a deck of cards if you go back and watch the footage. And there's a bunch of awesome stuff coming in the weapons. And so I think we're really just trying to hit that core, like, hey, we're a loot game, right? Like, the loot should be awesome.
Destiny's best days are ahead of us.
Yeah, well, me too. So speaking of the Pale Heart, the reveal, it was said in the reveal that the Pale Heart destination is the first linear destination ever done. So can you talk us through why it was decided to make it more linear destination?
All right, linear.
And what it means.
Yeah. So
the math lesson now?
Yeah, I'm not sure how many folks have been in algebra recently, but if you're like me and need a little refresher, linear line, right?
Walk
like
me
that's
through
what
it.
we're saying here. So a classic Destiny destination, we think of it as a loop, right? There are these big public areas. They're all connected in a circle. And then from those areas, there's little offshoots. There are little alleyways that you can go to. And that just didn't make sense for going inside
for a round traveler.
One, because the traveler is huge.
Round.
When we talk about the Pale Heart, we're saying, like, hey, what if you were an alien, you landed on Earth, and the only part of Earth you saw was like a parking lot in Montana, and you were like, oh, this place is huge, right? Like, it's sort of like, okay, so we're going to show you a really small slice of what is inside the traveler. And then we said, it needs to feel like you're going somewhere important. It's a vast, unknowable place. Okay, well, on one end, we've got the portal. And on the other end, we've got the witness that's built this giant monolith. And so every single area that we've built is built in a consecutive line from one to the other. So you travel through these things and you can look back at once you once were. And if you need to go to the next part, you're not going into these offshoots that dead end.
But it's still a destination. It's still
explorable. You need to
explorable.
be going. It's really focused on, hey, you've got a job to do here.
So it's like tracking your journey.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Okay, cool. Well, that sounds insane. So, super different.
That's what we go for.
During the showcase, it was also mentioned that completing the campaign would unlock the full destination, and that it almost like reacts as we progress. Is that kind of what you're hinting at, or can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, so I think two things we want people really to come away with thinking when they think about. One, this is a bit different in the way that you experience the Pale Heart right away. So normally you might land on the throne world and you do a mission, and then you're out with your Sparrow exploring the throne world, doing the missions if you want to. Day one of the final shape, you got a job to do, right? And so it is mission, right? And you just go through and you say, hey, we've got to stay focused on this thing. When you get to the end of that day one experience, everyone can sort of like collectively take a breath, collect themselves, and then you just this realization like, oh, we're like inside the Traveler, right? Like we should probably go see what that's about. And so the whole destination unlocks for you.
Thanks, Mega Nice.
There's a lot of things that are different about the Pale Heart than our other destinations. I think we're gonna save some of those juicy tidbits for what's different about this destination and how it sort of compares to what we've done in the past. But
you can launch a mission from the
pretty different
quest screen.
experience than even what you might expect in somewhere like the Dreaming City.
And for real, like we do want to save some of these juicy tidbits, not just because it's fun, but because like, I mean, the Traveler's just been this inscrutable godlike sphere that people have wanted to know more about for so long. And like, this is their opportunity to experience some of that mystery. And I'm excited to see how that plays out.
Well, it's alive, right? So what can we really expect?
Yeah, I think we talked about this. We showed a little bit. The section that you're in, it's shaped off of who's there, right? And so who's been there?
So cool.
The witness, right? The witness
messing stuff up.
Yeah, chilling right there. We're trying to knock on the door. We don't know how to get inside. And we're gonna make it eventually. And so it's got this both really unique aspect to it, and a bunch of the geo looks like stuff that you've never seen before. A bunch of these places feel like, this heaven on one side, hell maybe in the middle, crazy Destiny surrealness at the end. And then there are these accents of like, I'm at like a crazy heavenly beach, and then you see this giant ghost carved into a mountain, or you see the D1 tower erecting out of this. And so, we're really excited to sort of give people this like distilled Destiny experience that still feels really new when you're in there.
It's amazing.
So Dan, we've got feedback from players who wanted to learn more about the origins of the Witness and the Veil during the Lightfall campaign, rather than wait until like later on in the seasons. So players have big narrative expectations for the final shape. How are we taking this feedback and making this the epic conclusion that this first saga deserves?
Oh yeah, no, I mean this is the sort of fun of the challenge for this, right? Because the Light and Darkness saga has been such a focal through line for really most of Destiny's existence, right? Like it is this epic story. Joe was just talking about, some of that sort of culmination of experience inside the Pale Heart. And so this is a spot where we have to really land that culmination in a satisfying way, right? Like there is a confrontation that's been happening. There's a story that's been being told. This part of the Destiny world, we have to end really well, and the players deserve that, and the story deserves that. And so there's some things we're doing to account for that. But in addition, we have to set up the next set of stories. We're going to talk probably more about episodes in a bit, but like starting after the final shape with the new episodes framework that we're rolling out, we're going to tell all different stories, and we'll learn more about the world of Destiny moving forward. So that's the unique challenge that we are taking very seriously. And to accommodate that, we've done more, I think, on the narrative side of the fence than we've even done in the past. More significant writers' rooms. We brought in more folks from even.
Wait. So episodes means no more seasons, but that means no more annual DLC, no more big yearly drop of DLC, just 3 episodes.
That they want answered.
Slightly longer seasons.
Save some of those questions.
All the storytelling will be in the episodes.
There's more to it that you and
is there still a DLC? We don't know.
Probably to steal a little bit from Cosmo's and Pika's questions and give them the note card shuffle here in a minute. I think one of the things that we knew that was going to be challenging about this is, hey, we're telling the climax of the story. We know that, hey, when you get in the final shape, in those first moments, we want you to feel like, okay, Bungie delivered on this promise, delivered on this promise of becoming legend,
29.
delivered on
no sub-bullets right now.
Really putting a bow on the Traveler and Pyramid story. The thing that was also important for us is okay, well, you're gonna confront the Witness, the biggest bad in Destiny. Okay, we think you have to confront the Witness in the raid, right? A version of Destiny's chronological history where the Witness was tough. Not quite as tough as Valka-Or, right? It's probably not a thing that our players are gonna be super happy about. Not a thing I'm gonna be happy about. And so what we really think is this day one experience is sort of like the penultimate episode, or the right before the season finale of your favorite TV show, and it really sets the stage for, hey, this is exactly what's going on in the world of Destiny. The stakes have never been higher. You go through a pretty epic journey, and then we say, okay, now we have to have this raid beat, and so it's sort of a reverse. Taken King, if some of our people remember that moment in the Taken King, we delivered a thing where, hey, day one, for 80% of our players, they're like, I dealt with Oryx. And then for 20%, there was this other thing that they could go do, have another experience with Oryx.
Right.
And so for this one, we say, hey, want everyone to go really set up what's happening in the final shape. And then for everyone, right, and we're not gonna get into that, right, you should all wait for the raid, right? And we're gonna help make sure everyone is brought along for the end of this journey. I think it takes a lot of our learnings from both really classic experiences like Crota and Oryx and sort of infuses them with what we've been doing with things like Savathun and Callus and like taking all that lessons and saying, okay, we think we can do this the right way.
Yeah, and also just for something like this, when you
What is he hinting
complete
at there?
the circle of this story that we've been telling, we want to make sure that we're paying homage to the things of the past, and we're talking through just
Like, is Joe saying the raid is going to be
this story what it is?
more approachable because of the Fireteam Finder?
Is your first experience.
It'll be match made.
The mission. You can
It'll be
enjoy the campaign,
easy.
You can understand what is happening.
It'll make sense to the story more.
Almost a decade's worth of Destiny play knowledge that you
Right.
can look at.
So it kind of sounds like that means I have to.
Fireteam power level?
Now, while we're really excited about something like Fireteam Finder coming in and making it easier for anyone to get into the raid and experience those beats, yeah, I think the different part from our strategy sort of as in the past was we said, hey, there's something more for those who raid. There is a piece of the story, right, that is told in the raid. There's a piece that's essential. But it is definitely not going to be a moment where only raiders get to see the end of the Light and Darkness saga. Right.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Too many secrets.
We
That's fine. Don't
carefully
spoil it.
skirt around 1,000 plot points here.
Something's cooking. Let him cook. I don't understand, but let him cook.
Of the new enemy, the subjugators, are they going to be as terrifying as the tormentors? Like, what sets them apart from previous enemies?
Yeah, we were running through some questions yesterday, just like this. Spoiler alert: we do practice a little bit. Like we do think about this. And I got in trouble because I said several obscenities last time I did this. So I'm not gonna do that today on
Fuck
stream.
yeah.
Who scolded you?
It could have been anyone. Cosmo, it could have been anyone that scolded me.
Okay.
And so I've been playing a lot of the Final Shape recently, probably surprising to no one. Subjugators are very different than Tormentors. Tormentors are sort of like this Kool-Aid man.
How
that
different
busts
are they
through the
than
wall
Roll?
and is like saying, ah, all right, look at me, right? Oh, okay. And subjugators for us, they come out in these moments where you feel like you have a battlefield full of enemies, and then you hear the pyramid screech sound.
There's a sound.
Let me know. Is it out on
Subjugator
Steam yet?
beams
I'm
in,
16
and it's like
update,
the
16 gig update on what
ultimate sort of
platform? Incredible Hulk.
backfield tactician, right? And they're doing things like giving everyone around it little pyramid buddies. Like you've been shot in PvP with an Arc Soul. Imagine 10 taken Scions, and suddenly a subjugator's like,
I'm gonna turn it down, and we're gonna look at this thing right here.
and so there's still these moments where you're like,
Destiny 2 update 7201 Season of the Witch. Let me know when it's out on Steam. I can't wait to get subjugated. Activities. Icores offer timeline reflections, recaps of old missions. Cool. Ritual rank ups now happen immediately. Cool. Ritual director challenge has been updated, removing requirement. Blah blah blah. Requirement. Yeah, it's playlist agnostic. You can play whatever, or you can just go do all 9 in one. Vendor challenges, complete 8 bounties, etc. Okay.
I think we're striking an even better balance now that we have
General Crucible, connection-based matchmaking. Oh no! Fix out of bounds stuff. Anything major here? Steam update is out. Thank you.
I'm really happy with a bunch of the learning the team has been taking as we continue to make these things.
Oh, totally. Yeah, my super basic take from having played it is that, like, and I didn't know how this was going to play out until I experienced it. Joe described it really well.
Let's see how large the update is. Boop. Update.
So Cosmo doesn't yell at
Download.
But like, and the subjugator absolutely delivers that in the same way that I felt from the Tormentor.
13.8 gigs.
But it's just to Joe's point, it's a very different way, right? Like it is when it comes out. Like I'm just as terrified and worried for myself and my fire team, but for different reasons.
Okay, looking for big updates, little bitty things, loose skill-based matchmaking, alter parameters for tail ends, lobby balancing, clash control, Vanguard. How long is this? Holy patch notes! This thing is forever long.
Then what's actually going to happen? Like pyramid buddies are.
Why is yours 13? How big is yours? 11.86. High res textures, baby.
Okay, so Dan, this is for you. Your favorite, or everyone's, not yours, everyone's favorite hunter, Cade 6, is seemingly back from the dead. Can we get a little bit of the story on that?
I mean, I'll happily take this one because I love talking about Cade 6. I mean, here's the reality. We've been talking about this all coming full circle. And, Joe was talking about the campaign as mission. You have a mission. There's a thing that has to happen. And, like, both as players and developers, it was just hard to picture finishing this fight without Cade 6, right? And so we
That's a funny way to...
You're going to get less details than you want. But Cade 6 is back for this fight. And it was super important to us as you go through to have Cade 6, Zavala, Ikora, on comms talking through. And I think the most critical part of that is it's Cade 6 with Nathan Fillion. And I don't know about everybody else, but like Joe and
QR code for new player guide.
I think Joe said it really well, which is like when you're playing through the builds as you're going through, and the moment Nathan's line started actually coming through,
Destiny Calls Witness backstory can actually be played
right? Like
from the timeline.
Felt,
oh, cool.
It just changes the dynamic for me as far as like what I feel about what's going through, the sort of complexities of the story. Right. But the part that's important, I think, to know is that like this is Cade. Like Cade is back. Cade is with you on this journey. He is your guide through the Pale Heart.
Yeah.
And there's other stuff that we're not going to talk about just yet because I want players to experience it. But yeah, anything more?
Where's the UI change?
It's exciting.
No, we'll probably
is that final shape?
Times. We were like, what's the final shape? How are we going to do this? What's really important? We really wanted to make sure that this experience felt like the most distilled version of Destiny.
Yeah.
Like it's Destiny dialed up to 11. It is the like Destiny extract that if you were baking with, you're like, you only need a few drops. Like this is very potent. For us, we knew, hey, we've been planning this narrative roadmap out for a long time. We were like, okay, we know we need to make the best of this moment that we have with Cade here. But I think it was really, again, as the VO starts to come in and you're in these missions, you're like, oh, that's like Cade 6 talking to me.
Yeah.
And even, I wouldn't say everyone's favorite hunter. I mean, Eris Morn might have something to say about that. But yeah, it really starts to be like
wheels and follow.
Yeah, this is that distilled Destiny experience.
Yeah. I'm now picturing Destiny extract on the Bungie store.
I'm looking through the patch notes for anything new.
You could bottle this.
Yeah. Not sure what it smells like.
Good point.
I don't even want to speculate.
Yeah, just stop.
So we've been talking about final shape. Let's talk about episodes. We've seen some feedback from the players that the seasonal model has gotten a bit predictable at times, and we just saw in the showcase our content cadence is getting refreshed with this episode model. Can you talk us through what episodes are and how they're going to be different than seasons?
Sure, yeah. So, I mean, let's start with sort of what episodes are at their core, right? I think the easiest way to think about episodes is the natural evolution of the seasonal model. Because the seasonal model's done a lot of great things for Destiny. Mm-hmm. I think we've run seasons for the better part of 3 years at this point, and it has allowed us to deliver, really quality experiences at a 3-month, very fast cadence, really move the story forward. I think we've told some great stories, introduced some new activities, new mechanics, really moved everything forward. The problem is, and if we're being honest with ourselves, and I'm going to be honest with ourselves, we really biased towards consistency to do that, right? Like we wanted to deliver it quality. We wanted to deliver it on time, all the time to the player. Mm-hmm. But that made the experience somewhat repetitive. Like almost sort of by design in a certain way, which is now, I think, stretched out to the end of its utility. So episodes change up the framework and change up the delivery cadence. So there are 3 episodes a year. The first one will start alongside the final shape, and parts of it will start a little bit after. We can touch on that in a sec. But these 3 episodes are split into 3 acts each.
Yes.
Okay.
And this means 2 things, really. One, that now what you're really looking at is 9 beats a year that are 6 weeks apart. And each of these beats gives us an opportunity to materially change the state of the game, to materially move the meta forward, introduce
Are the acts time gated?
Introduce new weapons, new perks, new activities.
They must be.
And it doesn't have to be so formulaic. So it allows us to do what I think Destiny does really well, which is get a little weird at times.
That means there's 3-week gaps between every
really
act.
Bad baseball metaphors I'm not going to use, but like throw some curveballs into.
You just said you weren't going to use the baseball metaphors.
If they're 6 weeks long and it's every 9 weeks.
Really deep with this metaphor, and it's going to be interesting to about 4 people, so we're not going to do that. But like it allows us to react more to what else is going on in the game. It allows us to change up the way we look at content delivery in a way that I think is just strictly better for all of us who are players, right? Like these 6 weeks, the 6 weeks in between major beats, I think is a really good way for players to, play Destiny in where, within their own lifestyle, how it fits into the white space of their life. I think it allows us to introduce different things, to try some different things. Like I said, make it weird and really start to
9
experiment
beats
in a couple of places
every 6
because
weeks.
of
So there's
not
no
everything has to be there
gap
all at once, right at the top.
Between
So
the 6 weeks and
I
this 6
think
weeks?
what episodes allows us to do is to not only continue telling stories in I think a new and pretty interesting way, but it also allows us to just really amp up the variety of the types of things that we can bring and when we can bring them into the game, which I think is just going to be a great experience.
Absolutely.
Oh,
what
9
does that mean for the
9
reward track?
beats, not
so one of the most interesting things that we're doing with episodes is probably how they start.
Okay.
So for us, again, we've talked a lot. It's like pretty important that when the final shape is happening, everyone in the universe is saying, you know what's important? This whole thing that's going on in the Traveler right now. We've got to stay really focused. So we wanted the episodes to be a reaction to what happens when the final shape resolves, right? And so this means both. We don't want to tell a competing story at the same time.
True.
And we want, hey, once the first episode kicks off, for it to be in the context of what happens in the final shape. So the majority of the narrative content, the activity content, really when the episode begins, happens that reset after the raid. However, right away, we know there are some systems that just need to be online. So the reward track, you're going to be able to get Red Death, log into the game, claim it from the past. I've been using it a lot in playtests. It's a solar weapon. Can I say that? So like a little bit of like
leaks. We have Crimson. I thought Crimson was Red Death.
I think we're excited for that. And there's even a few stuff that you're going to be able to get.
Destiny's best leaks are ahead of us.
We have another sub archetype that's going to be out there. We haven't talked about what sub archetype that is, but we might see it in sub. I think it's the kind of thing that people are going to be like, oh, I might bring this to the Raids World First race. And so we're excited for both having some of this content available right away, but keeping that meat of that narrative, keeping what's important for the story and the world of Destiny to say, no. We're going to say everyone's on the same page when this kicks off. If you are in episode 1, you're hearing those lines of dialogue, you're getting those story beats, everyone is saying, okay, we all just saw what happened, right? Like we were all there for that. And like, yeah, we were.
And nuts and bolts wise, so episodes, we're still going to run season passes alongside episodes. And so before, where it was a season pass specific to a season, now it's actually going to reset at every act. So you'll have 100 ranks for the first act of each episode, and then 50 additional will be added for
18 weeks to hit level 100. You got it.
Throughout the course of an entire episode. And that length actually allows us to add some more stuff to it, right?
I think we want to make sure that those additional ranks in Act 2 and Act 3 are really rewarding, and so we've both learned from our players, like, hey, we really value this. Can we get more of this? And so, like, great, we got that. And then we're also just going back to some old experiments. One of the things I'm really excited about is, in the 30th anniversary, we tried this
200.
We're like, we're going to give everybody a tiger helmet, right? And it's like silver.
I didn't hear that.
And
I'm looking at like 9 other things right now.
Hunters, Titans, Warlocks, they can all wear it. I'm like, maybe we should do that again. Maybe that should be what's on the very end of the pass, where you not only is there, a unique armor set, but at the end you can be like, hey, and I was there. I did the whole thing right now. I got like this awesome helmet, and everyone wears the same thing. So we're excited to be taking a lot of learnings and pushing this and saying, okay, I think we've made a thing that players are going to be able to sink their teeth into and feel rewarded from and be excited about.
Yeah.
I like the idea of having like a unique reward to an episode. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, you answered the question about 2 separate narratives, so we don't need that card anymore. Good. What about the artifacts, like the perks? Like, are players going to have a different experience there, or are they going to get the same kind of like day 1?
Is it time?
Yeah. So
it's time to stop the recording.
You're going to see something that looks exactly what you expect the artifact to look like, right? It's got the same.
Hey, and that's the end of the showcase video. I'm now uploading to YouTube. Thanks for watching this hour and 14-minute video that no one's going to watch.
What's going to happen though is when